Just 4 other ads on Father's Day against fathers. Mother's Day is for mothers. We love mothers. Okay? I love my mom probably more than my dad, okay? But the point is that dads get to have their day, not, no, it's too political. This year, they won't run pro-dad ads. I've got mainstream news I'm going to show you. Just like mother and father are getting banned, by the whole movement. So here is a clip of what is being run against fathers.
My father passed away when I was 3. There was 4
left on Shoshone Avenue.
So my mom had to raise 4 kids by herself.
My mom was...
See, and they're saying a celebration of dads hurts moms. Or saying of a mother and father hurts people that don't, who are whatever.
Very emotional.
I'm sorry.
It's a whole ad thanking moms on Father's Day.
I don't know how she raised 3 boys on her own with such grace.
Again, dad being recognized hurts women?
Seen her try to juggle both mom, dad, and everything else that she has to do for herself.
This is like they targeted the black community. You know what I mean?
Get the dads out.
Yep, get the dads out.
In 1.1 miles.
Not a joke.
Turn left on Bradford Place.
Oh, well, that's the ultimate.
They know without a father figure.
Your knuckle out.
So
There's a breakdown.
it's biological. That's
I don't even know if that's
male whales can't be involved. Or male chipmunks.
Her toughness, it was something very fragile.
All right, let's stop right there. So they ran all these anti-father ads on Father's Day to see what would happen. It blew up in their face.
And this was the norm, by the way, Alex, on just like all your...
Dad's a fat idiot. He's a drunk. He's a moron. It's every program. They don't debate this, but the point is it's declassified. Now, here it is. Herald Sun. This is a U.S. ad that ran here this year. They tried to air it during their national soccer, they call football championship. It was banned. Herald Sun, Father's Day ad pulled, too political to praise dads. So let us show you the ad that's too political, that's so evil, that it praises how great dads are and how great moms are. Here it is.
Little baby, don't you cry. Daddy's gonna sing you a lullaby. When you're
Men and women together with a baby, the humans. It's like aliens make these ads. This is what's bad. This is what's banned. A father loving his child. The image of a father being good. We all did this. It doesn't take from mothers that fathers are good.
this was part of the Communist Manifesto.
Is in the family. Yep. Look at North Korea. Arjan is a human community. We love our grandfathers, our grandmothers. We love our fathers, our mothers. We love everyone. The fact that we have mothers and fathers and families doesn't mean we're bad to other people they've hit with chemical weapons.
That's why they call it television programming.
That's right. Darren McBreen with me more straight ahead. We're getting into Saturday Night Live and the rats leaving the sinking ship straight ahead. And then we're going to get into Stranger Things, an analysis that I shot at my house in my garage working out yesterday. It's all coming up. Spread the word. Be part of the revolution. There's Random Stops. Vitamin Mineral Fusion. Visit InfoWarsLife.com to secure your canister. We have worked for years with our chemists and scientists to create the most powerful and affordable, great-tasting multivitamin formula available. Vitamin Mineral Fusion Drink Mix at InfoWarsLife.com is loaded with a full month's supply of essential vitamins, minerals, and amino acids that your body absolutely needs. In the history of InfoWars Life, we've brought out a lot of amazing products like Survival Shield X2, Super Male Vitality, and so many others. With its unique delivery system and proprietary manufacturing process designed for maximized effects, this formula is the platinum standard of multivitamin mineral products. And this part is most important. The ingredients in Vitamin Mineral Fusion are either plant-derived or of the highest quality lab standard. That means it's clean. That means it's pure. And rest assured, you're fighting the tip of the spear in the info war. That's InfoWarsLife.com and Vitamin Mineral Fusion. Take action now before we sell out. America is an information-based civil war. That's why now more than ever, we've got to hit the streets of America and let these globalist scum know we're not backing down from their bullying. We're only intensifying our operations in the face of...
1,000 feet. Turn left. Turn right.
A free speech advocate is truly the counterculture. The real punk rock is being a patriot who's pro-America, pro-capitalism, and pro-freedom, who at the same time is tolerant. Modern liberalism is a counterfeit of Thomas Jefferson's classical liberalism. They are the anti-liberals. To defend free speech, meet like-minded friends, and promote freedom worldwide. We've got more than 60 original designs of high-quality t-shirts for men and women, as well as more Patriot apparel at InfoWarsStore.com. Be part of the second American revolution at InfoWarsStore.com. I want to plow into all of this. But I'm going to spend a few minutes here first, just encouraging listeners to understand that when you buy t-shirts or water filtration systems or books or videos or other material from InfoWarsStore.com, you are funding the revolution. I mean, I cannot say it any clearer. And so it is essential that you purchase them. And that's literally that for Canary in the Coal.
Part of the establishment.
Suddenly in the last 2 weeks, why are all the Democrats and their entertainment shows suddenly, who were like cult-like followers of Hillary and Bill, why are they suddenly turning on? What do they know?
Well, they know what's coming out. There's a lot of stuff that's coming out. But even Donna Brazile, and I do credit her for coming out and exposing the Hillary campaign, but she's not gone far enough. I mean, her book is still called Hacking. She's still saying...
She's covering her butt.
She's covering her own ass. That's what's going on. But look...
You've got a stack of articles there. Give us some of those headlines. I'm going to play this piece we're going to analyze here and critique.
This one is pretty huge. I don't think you've seen this one yet. But the Huffington Post, they just yanked an article about Russiagate. This was a couple days ago. It was only up there for 24 hours. But the guy that wrote this, he is an award-winning journalist and UN correspondent for 25 years. His name is George Loria, I think that's how you pronounce his name. But he talked about Russiagate. And this article only lasted, like I said, for 24 hours.
And they pulled it. I saw it today because it showed that basically it was Hillary.
Yes, it showed that it was Hillary. And check this out. The two sources that originated the allegations claiming that Russia meddled in the 2016 election, they were both paid for by the DNC and the Clinton campaign.
And what's incredible is you've got real journalists having to post around and tell the truth about this. They get shut down, which creates the Streisand effect. But let's expand on that. the fact that in this piece you're about to see from Saturday Night Live that Donna Brazil's the hero, again, shows how desperate they've gotten. Here's part of that Saturday Night Live piece that aired last night.
And now a message from the Democratic National Committee.
This Tuesday, Americans went to the polls.
And they told President Trump, we don't like what you're doing at all, sir.
And now one thing is clear. We're back, baby. The Dems are back.
Estamos de vuelta.
You love us again.
And we haven't felt this confidence since the...
Back this up, Darren. Everything they say here is what we talked about, how they really only won 2 Democrat states. They already won last election. They're imploding. They're delusional. They should be gotten rid of. I mean, it's literally word for word what Roger showed and I and you and others talked about last week. They're now saying.
And how they stole the primary from Bernie Sanders.
Which is true, but again, and how Seth Rich was killed politically. Let's continue.
You love us again.
And we haven't felt this confidence since the day before Trump won.
You love our fresh new ideas delivered by fresh new faces like me, Nancy Pelosi. And me, Dianne Feinstein.
And me, Chuck Schumer.
Y yo soy Tim Kaine.
And I'm team player Donna Brazil.
And we also have some great new leaders waiting in the wings, like hot young thing Elizabeth Warren. And also, that's right,
It's Biden time.
I'm still around too.
and together we're going to end the spirit of divisiveness in this country by focusing on how we won the governor's races in 2 of the 10 states we care about. And we learned our lesson from the last election. We can't just appeal to coastal elites. We need mouth breathers from Wisconsin and window lickers from Ohio as well. And we know that what Americans really care about is jobs. Jobs like smuggling immigrants across the border and converting Confederate monuments into statues of prominent lesbian poets.
They're gonna think the people if they don't say what's politically correct. Like these comics out there who think it's okay to make jokes about concentration camps. That guy should rot in hell. The Dems are back, and we won't stop now because we need another path for our country.
Another vision for America. Another chance for me, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Just one more chance. And maybe one more chance after that.
They finally woke up. Way too late. They should have known back during the campaign.
I wouldn't get too used to this as well. I think they're still going to use their normal format. I just think they're being forced to at least try to have a little bit of
course.
fair, fair and balance.
Our time.
Yo soy Tim Kaine.
And just wait till Bernie transfers his faith of passionate millennial voters over to a new leader.
No, if you liked it, you should have put a ring on it. Pass.
So watch out, America. Because the Dems are back. We're back.
We're back, baby.
Cuidado, Senor Trump.
Because the Dems are back.
I will destroy all of this. Because that was paid for by Mark Cuban.
So what they're pushing is, this came out this week, Mark Cuban's going to try to take Trump out in the next primary in 2.5 years. And this is all the inside baseball, but this is their facelift. They're desperately trying to get the face sucker, the Clintons, out of there because it's killing them, literally killing their party. Not just saying that, it's the end of the Democratic Party.
A lot of these skits end up on social media, so that'll be on YouTube and it'll be on Facebook later. And I predict that will be one of their most viewed. Because this is the thing. They want you to believe that Donald Trump has, like a 30% approval rating?
Just like during the campaign, it's about 65.
Yeah, it's totally ridiculous. So
it's 65 with voters. It's about 50 with non-voters.
Yeah, so when they start doing more of this conservative type
like 57
of comedy, they're going to get a lot more views and they're going to get a better reaction. I mean, most people, America is not full of libtards. Right?
Well, let's expand on that.
There's a lot of them out there. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying the majority of people are patriotic Americans.
Well, also Trump, 10 months in, 11 months in, is delivering on the economy and everything else. So they've got a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
They got a big problem. When we come back, though, I'm going to be honest with everybody. I want to see the Democrats continue on being so idiotic in the public so we beat them. But we've got the Republican Party as well we've got to face. But the fact that they're finally waking up that no one's buying their BS means they'll finally be a harder opponent to beat because they're going to go back to lying more efficiently, not just selling their whole New World Order program. I'm going to come right back to the side with Darren McBreen to break down the more sophisticated program out there, the brainwashing that's hidden inside entertainment. Stay with us. Our two world deodorant. Just a free. We're the broadcast. InfoWarsLive.com. Thank you, Dr. Group from the Global Healing Center. Thank you so much for all your work, sir, on this great product. Watch this.
Down the family unit. And this is a subtle way of doing it. It basically just makes it uncool to have the nuclear family.
And again, we get cookie cutter America. There's been problems, but it plays on your emotions as if family did this. Well, if you think family screwed you over, you wait till the system. It doesn't give a damn about you. They're trying to take away the one group and it's in all the countless government documents. The communists in the Soviet Union, especially North Korea, as you mentioned earlier, they get rid of the family. So let's go ahead and air. And this is total fair use. I'm going to assume they try to claim copyright. This is a public program. I paid for this. I watched it. I'm a citizen. Free speech. I am reviewing this to give you critiques. Also, the girls are all anorexic in it. Plus, the 13-year-old girl who was 12 when they shot it, they're calling her the sexiest woman alive.
Sexiest woman in Hollywood. Sexiest woman in Hollywood.
Can we pull that up when we come back after this clip? I mean, there's so many layers, but here's the deal. They admit MK-Ultra. They admit mind control. They admit drugging women and children. They admit trying to torture people till they become psychic or express their powers. And that's all real, but it becomes a joke. So, you learned about that on Stranger Things. There it is. The magazine called Millie Bobby Brown, one of the sexiest TV stars, and honestly, what the F? She's 13 years old. The sexualization of children. Here is our breakdown of Stranger Things, episode 5, season 1. Okay, this is the #1 TV show in the world, as most of you know right now. So I decided to go ahead and watch the first season, Stranger Things. Great cinematography, great cast. Okay, really good. But then you know that there are written rules in Hollywood and quotas that every film must attack the nuclear family, every show. This is admitted. And that every leading role must be a heroine, must be a woman. So I'm sitting here watching this while I'm on the elliptical. And the theme is families having dinner together is bad. And in the previous episode, it's all foreshadowing. The father's deadbeat has run off from the house that has an interdimensional gate broken. There's no writer, his ex-wife. They're fighting. He was never a good dad. She was the mom that was good. Dad's bad. So earlier, they stole a gun his son had out of his car to go fight the interdimensional monster. And by the time I even saw this, I said, oh, next. They got the gun. The guy won't know how to shoot it, but the girl will. Sure enough, it happened. But then it got even worse. It went further. They then actually talked crap about the nuclear family on top of it. Now, again, I didn't predict this. It's total scripted, just like Gamergate and all the rest of it. This is incredible. That it's just all laced in here. And look, I'm all for women being heroes in movies. The point is, it's every hero in every movie now. And it's all admitted, a formula of total control. And this is what America is rejecting. So go ahead and watch the scene right here. Cool.
Oh, don't do that.
What's wrong? I'm lying to you.
Yeah, well, where does he want to go? Huh? Where does Jonathan want to go to college?
He can have money anywhere he damn well pleases.
NYU, Lonnie! He's wanted to go to NYU since he was 6 years old!
Then he goes to NYU!
Get out.
They also lace into all shows the dream of going to college. That it was a giant scam, that a fraud to debilitate people and basically brainwash them, put them in the gills. That's all they classified too. Just like ugly artful CIA. So this is a show about the CIA, about mind control, but it's mind control.
You need to be here, Joyce. Oh, I have not needed you for a long time!
Yes, you don't be a man, don't be a nuclear family. It's bad, it's nasty. But again,
So, Sean Hannity is in the middle of another boycott. We will discuss how to fight it. Plus, Roy Moore, guilty or innocent, we will go through all of the details. And President Trump sends the best tweet of his career, bar none. I'm Ben Shapiro. This is The Ben Shapiro Show. So every week is an adventure around here. I mean, really an adventure. And if you were wondering, yes, I still have my cold. That's why I sound so deep-voiced and masculine today. But in any case, there's so much to discuss. I want to talk about a New York Times column, which is one of the worst columns I have ever seen, in which the author, a professor at Yeshiva University, suggests that his black child should not be allowed to play with white children. No, I am not kidding. We'll go through the Keurig boycott. There are a lot of people who are breaking their Keurig coffee machines, and I'll explain why to you. Plus, we'll look at the latest on the Roy Moore accusations. Breaking news that Gloria Allred, the famed gadfly and media hound, is supposed to show up in about 2 hours here and make some announcements. She's supposed to have a press conference, I guess, in which she announces that there is a second accuser who says that when she was underage, Roy Moore, the Senate Republican candidate in Alabama, sexually assaulted her. We'll discuss all of this in just a second. But first, I want to say thank you to our sponsors over at Legacy Box. So, I think that one of the most important things that you can do, especially as you get older, is ensure that your family memories are preserved. This is particularly true for your parents. You know, your parents are getting older, they've got boxes and boxes of crap in their garage. All the old photos, all the old reels, all these things you'll never be able to watch because they're not even on VHS tapes, let alone on DVD. Well, what you need to do is go over to Legacy Box. They send you a box in the mail. You take all of these items, you pack them up, you send it back to them, and Legacy Box puts them all together, and they send it back to you on a DVD or a thumb drive. So all of those family memories are no longer in these waterlogged boxes in your infested garage. Instead, they're in your house, and you can take them out, and you can look at them whenever you want. And when there's fire, you just grab the thumb drive instead of trying to schlep 37 pounds of photos on your back out of the family garage. So that's what Legacy Box is for. So legacybox.com/Ben, you get a 40% discount on your order. 250,000 families have used them, and they take care of everything. They provide updates at every step of the way, so you know that they've got your materials. They put individualized barcodes on every one of your items, so you can trace it all the way through the process. Again, it's legacybox.com/Ben to get a 40% discount on your order. That's legacybox.com/Ben, legacybox.com/Ben, and make sure they use that /Ben so you get the discount, and also so that they know that we sent you. It really is a fantastic gift, great Christmas gift, great Hanukkah gift if you're trying to figure out what to get from mom and dad. Nothing better than preserving the family memories. Okay, so we begin today with the Keurig boycott. So this is going crazy online. I want to talk a little bit about the tactic of it and why I think sometimes it is useful. So we have to begin with an interview that Roy Moore did with Sean Hannity. So Sean Hannity, I think, has been probably the strongest Donald Trump defender in the media. He's also been a big Roy Moore defender. However, when these allegations arose against Roy Moore, Sean Hannity went through them, and Media Matters basically decided that they were going to target Hannity. Now, Media Matters is a left-wing agitprop group run by David Brock. They've targeted Rush Limbaugh before. They've targeted Sean Hannity before. They've targeted virtually every major right-wing host has been targeted at some point by Media Matters. And Media Matters is a Clinton agitprop organization. They were co-founded essentially by the Clintons and the Podestas, and their entire goal was to defend the Democratic agenda from the outside. What they do is they, in some cases, take quotes out of context or make up allegations. And then they call up all the advertisers on programs like Sean Hannity, and then they convince them that there are tons of people who are super outraged at these advertisers for advertising on Hannity, and they get them to put advertisements. So what they allege is a couple of things. They said that Sean Hannity out, they take her from her home, they stripped her down, they touched her, and then made her touch him. They said that Hannity had said that was consensual. Hannity never said any such thing. We went through that tape last week, if you recall. Then they said that his interview with Roy Moore was basically propaganda for Roy Moore. It certainly wasn't. Here's some clips from the interview with Roy Moore. You should remember these clips because these will also become relevant when we discuss the actual allegations against Roy Moore, the Senate Republican candidate in Alabama.
At that time in your life, let me ask you this. You do remember these girls. Would it be unusual for you as a 32-year-old guy to have dated a woman as young as 17? That'd be a 15-year difference, or a girl 18. Do you remember dating girls that young at that time?
Not generally, no. If I did, I'm not going to dispute anything, but I don't remember anything like that.
But you don't specifically remember having any girlfriend that was in her late teens even at that time?
No, I don't remember that, and I don't remember ever dating any girl without the permission of her mother. And I think in her statement, she said that her mother actually encouraged her to go out with this. These allegations are completely false and misleading. But more than that, it hurts me personally because, I'm a father. I have one daughter. I have 5 granddaughters, and I have a special concern for protection of young ladies.
Okay, so Moore, there was not good responses by Moore, but it was a pretty good interview by Hannity. Hannity went through each of the charges individually. He discussed them at length with Roy Moore. It was a good interview. It doesn't matter. Media Matters decided they were going to target Sean anyway. So they go after Keurig by astroturfing a bunch of people to tweet at Keurig, and Keurig responds with this tweet. So Keurig responds by saying, Angelo. So Angelo Carasone is the head of Media Matters. He says, good afternoon, Keurig. You're currently sponsoring Sean Hannity's show. He defends child molester Roy Moore and attacks women who speak out against sexual harassment. Please reconsider. Okay, he can't name how Sean actually defended child molester Roy Moore. And he also can't explain exactly how Sean attacked women who spoke out against sexual harassment. Like, he doesn't actually have any evidence of that. This is all nonsense. But Keurig responds because advertisers get afraid of controversy. So Keurig responds by saying, Angelo, thank you for your concern and for bringing this to our attention. We worked with our media partner at Fox News to stop our ad from airing during the Sean Hannity show. So they pulled their advertisements. Well, this drove a lot of Sean's fans to basically pull a reverse boycott and say, okay, we're not going to buy Keurig products anymore. If you're going to pull stuff based on Media Matters going after Sean Hannity, well, then we're not going to sponsor you. Right? You won't sponsor Sean, we won't sponsor you. Now, there are a couple of things that are right about this, and maybe one thing that I think is a problem. But here's a video of people destroying their Keurig machines. So this one has gone viral. This is a fellow who decided to go golfing against his Keurig machine. He tweeted, guys, MAGA Twitter is drilling Keurig machines with 10-pound practice drivers. Here we go.
Let's see what we can do for this thing.
And there goes the Keurig machine. I believe we have one here at the office. We have not yet shattered it. The reason we haven't shattered it yet is because if you shatter a machine that you already bought, that doesn't actually involve a boycott. Right? Like, if I shatter something I've already bought, all that means is that I don't have the thing anymore. So I'm not really sure how that is effective. But the idea that you're going to boycott a place like Keurig for pulling out advertising, it's not completely wrong-headed. I think there are a lot of people who are making fun of it today. This is not the only example of somebody destroying a Keurig machine. Here's another example of somebody doing it. Wait.
Oh, boy.
And boom, there it goes from the second story. Somebody broke the Keurig machine. Again, I don't see the point of buying a product and then breaking the product. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. If you want to boycott Keurig, just don't buy more K-Cups. But here's sort of the logic. When I was at Truth Revolt, we launched boycott campaigns against people like Al Sharpton, against Martin Bashir on MSNBC. When we launched a boycott campaign against Alec Baldwin, we helped get Alec Baldwin kicked off the air at MSNBC. The point of those was not because we thought that boycotting advertisers that sponsor programs politically is wrong. In fact, we obviously love that. The reason we did that is because we were trying to prove to the left that this is a bad tactic. We wanted mutually assured destruction. The idea here is that whenever the left gets angry, they pressure advertisers to pull advertising from political programming. And that's really dangerous because what that ends up doing is creating a market vacuum where people refuse to advertise on places like Fox News. You want to know why Fox News is constantly running, catheter ads, and why MSNBC, which has lower ratings, is constantly running car ads? The reason is because nobody's boycotting the cars, but a lot of people are boycotting the cars if they appear on Fox News. So long as the left insists on playing this game, playing the game in reverse seems to be justified as a mutually assured destruction scenario. It shouldn't be something that we embrace wholeheartedly. It shouldn't be something where we say, yeah, boycott advertisers. I don't like boycotting advertisers. I think that it's generally wrong. But if the idea here is that you have to teach advertisers, number one, that you can astroturf a call on pretty much anything, and number two, teach the left that this has the same effect on the left that it has on the right, and everybody should put down their guns. That seems to me like that'd be a worthwhile thing. The bottom line here is the Media Matters is a really despicable organization, and they're making up allegations in order to go after Sean. There are plenty of things that Media Matters could go after Sean after if they wanted to, but that's not exactly what they decided to do instead. They decided to take Sean out of context deliberately in order to go after him, and it's pathetic that advertisers fell prey to that. Speaking of taking out of context, there's an article in Time Magazine today that I just want to correct. Time Magazine ran an allegation by a girl who was 16, I guess, when she met George H.W. Bush. H.W. was 79 at the time, and apparently H.W. grabbed this girl's ass. Apparently this is the allegation anyway, is that H.W. grabbed this woman's butt, and she was shocked by it. Here's the piece from Time Magazine. Her name, I guess, is Rosalind Corrigan. Now, I say hi to Rosalind, apparently she's a listener of the show. The reason I know that she's a listener of the show is because it says in the article, she said recently she was listening to an episode of a podcast hosted by Ben Shapiro called Is Everything Sexual Assault? Now, this a couple weeks ago. Allegations against Bush were discussed on the show. And she said, when I heard that was the reason, like, oh, he's just an old man and he doesn't know any better and he's just being harmless and playful and it's just where his arm falls, I just burst into uncontrollable sobbing, Corrigan said. I just couldn't sit with that. I can't sit with that. I can't sleep anymore because that's not true and it's not an excuse. Well, that's not what I said on the show. And I actually don't think that's what Corrigan is saying. To give her credit, I really don't think that this particular lady is saying that. I said on the show that H.W. Bush did it because he was senile. What I said on the show is if he did it because it was senile, because he's actually senile, that's a different story than if he did it not being senile, in which case he deserves to be punched, right? If somebody grabbed my wife's ass, I would punch them. At the very least, I'd push them around a little bit. Okay, the idea that it's okay if you are not senile but you're old is just ridiculous. The idea that old guys can do this stuff, I said it on the show 2 weeks ago. Right? You can go back and listen to the show. But Time Magazine reports that out of context as though I was defending Bush and saying he was senile. I wasn't saying that at all. I was saying if he's senile, that changes the scenario. But if he's not senile, then that's obviously disgusting behavior. Not to toot my own horn here, but I've been pretty damn consistent on the sexual harassment front here. I'm pretty consistent on the sexual assault, sexual harassment front, and that's why I'm trying to, on the Roy Moore stuff, be as objective as possible. So today, one of the things that I want to do here is go through what I think are 5 various perspectives that are all being lumped together with regard to the Roy Moore allegations. The latest of the Roy Moore allegations, as I say, is that Gloria Allred is saying that she wants to present another accuser who's underage and Roy Moore sexually assaulted her. That's the accusation, apparently, according to the mainstream media. And there is, and Breitbart News also is going out of its way. They're sending a couple of different reporters down to Alabama to try and discredit the story about the 14-year-old girl who has accused, now she's in her 50s, who accused Roy Moore of taking her home and then sexually assaulting her, essentially. So here are the 5 perspectives on the Roy Moore saga. So you listened to the audio already. Okay, listen to the audio more. I don't find it particularly a compelling defense. Saying I always talk to their mothers first is not really an excuse for dating underage girls. The idea that when he says I can't remember dating some of these women, then he says, well, there's one of these women and I remember being friends with her. If you want to call it a date, I guess it's a date. none of this speaks well to his recollection of events. He was very careful in that interview to say he'd done nothing illegal, but he did not really deny knowledge of anything except this 14-year-old girl. Now, the reason the 14-year-old girl, her allegations are credible is because there are supported details that are credible, right? So she says that she met him in court, and Moore basically recruited her outside of court when her mom was in the court. And Roy Moore said, "Oh, wait, out here with your 14-year-old daughter," and then he started hitting on her and got her phone number and all of this. Moore was at the court at the time. She was at the court at the time. Her mom was at the court at the time. There are multiple witnesses who say that this woman has told the story over and over. And then she was sought out by the Washington Post, right? She wasn't looking for glory. She wasn't looking for a settlement. She wasn't looking for cash. Instead, the Washington Post had to basically push her into testifying. Now, the way that Breitbart pushes that, Breitbart News has pushed this in the sense that, well, look at the Washington Post. They're politically motivated. Right, we know they're politically motivated. That's true. That doesn't mean the underlying facts are not true. It's politically motivated when Andrew Breitbart goes after Andrew Weiner. I know Andrew. You know, that's it, but that doesn't mean that what he was saying was false. And I think we have to separate these things out. Politically motivated does not always mean false. Okay, so here are the 5 perspectives, I think, on Moore and what to do about him. So, perspective number 1 is turnabout is fair play. There are a lot of people I'm seeing on the right who are looking around, they're saying, listen, the left is not willing to throw anyone out, no matter what the standard. We can't disarm ourselves, right? This is the prisoner's dilemma I was talking about last week. I don't think it's necessarily a moral perspective, but it's a politically advantageous one, I guess. This is the idea that the left is not going to throw out people like Bob Menendez, so why would we throw out Roy Moore without an actual conviction? And even if he were actually convicted, the Democrats are not going to throw out Bob Menendez, right? Dick Durbin, the senator from Illinois, was asked about Bob Menendez, who's currently on trial for corruption, the senator from New Jersey, and he's asked, if he's convicted, will you move to kick him out of the Senate? And Durbin won't even answer the question.
If your colleague, Senator Bob Menendez, New Jersey Democrat, is convicted on the corruption charges, he's on trial right now, the jury is still deliberating, will you vote to expel him?
I'm not going to get into the hypotheticals on either of these situations. As I said, several steps removed. I'm hopeful that when all is said and done, that Bob Menendez will be returning to the Senate representing the state of New Jersey.
Okay, so this idea that the Democrats are somehow moral players here is obviously not true, and a lot of Republicans are responding to this by basically saying, well, fine, if you're not going to get rid of Menendez, why would you get rid of Moore? Right? Amy Klobuchar, who's the Democrat senator from Minnesota, she says that maybe if Moore is elected, maybe we'll expel him. But I don't remember her saying anything like this about Menendez, who's actually on trial right now.
But you're in favor of starting the expulsion process, potentially, if he is elected?
That's one way we can do it, but the other way is for the people of Alabama to look at these 2 candidates. And yes, I have faith that they're going to look at what happened in these allegations and the fact that there's 30 witnesses and make a decision on someone else.
Then again, on the hypocrisy front, Lawrence O'Donnell, who's not said one word as far as I'm aware about expelling Bob Menendez, he asks Mitch McConnell, he says, what are you going to do about Moore? What are you going to do about Moore? And a lot of people on the right are like, well, screw you. You won't do anything about your own people. Why should we do anything about our people? Again, I'm not saying this is a moral perspective, and I'm going to explain my own perspective further, but I think that it's worthwhile elucidating the various perspectives. Before I go any further here, I first want to say thank you to our sponsors over at My Patriot Supply. So, you've seen a lot of natural disasters on the news lately. You've seen natural disasters in California and Texas and Florida and Puerto Rico. You've seen natural disasters, a big earthquake yesterday in the Middle East. When this stuff happens, it should be a reminder that natural disasters can happen, and there may be a time when you can't actually get to the grocery store, but you're out of supplies. The government can't get to you for a couple of days. That's why you need My Patriot Supply. The government recommends that you have a certain amount of food on hand in case bad things happen. That's what My Patriot Supply is for. Get the 102 serving survival food kit for just $99. It includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners, and is shipped to your home for free. Order a kit for yourself right now. Call 888-803-1413 or go online to preparewithben.com. Again, that's 888-803-1413 or go online to preparewithben.com. 888-803-1413, preparewithben.com. People who have tried it, they say it tastes like home cooking. It lasts 25 years in storage. So for $99, you're basically making your family safe for the next 25 years. Seems like a pretty good deal to me. Okay, so here is Lawrence O'Donnell ripping on Mitch McConnell and saying, what are you going to do about Roy Moore? Meanwhile, the entire Democratic Party continues to pretend that Bob Menendez doesn't exist.
If these allegations are true, and how will Mitch McConnell decide if they are true? Will he question Roy Moore about it? He has the power to do that. Will he bring Roy Moore right back to Washington to sit with his potential future Republican colleagues and allow those colleagues to question him about this?
Again, this all this pressure from the left. It makes a lot of people on the right, we can stop it there. It makes a lot of people on the right feel as though this is a political partisan hit job, and then if the situation were reversed, they would be defending their Democrats, which probably is true. Right? Jeffrey Goldberg says the Washington Post is neutral on Moore. Jeffrey Goldberg is the editor of The Atlantic. That's obviously laughable. The Washington Post is not neutral on Moore. Their editorial board endorsed his opponent in Alabama. So obviously they have some feelings on the issue. Now, does that mean that the allegations are not credible or the reporting is bad? No, it doesn't. But when people keep insisting that the Washington Post has no agenda with regard to the election, 2 things can be true at once. They can have an agenda and the allegations can be true. But people seem to be able to take only one perspective. If they have an agenda, that means the allegations are false, or the allegations are true and they have no agenda. Here's Jeffrey Goldberg saying the Washington Post has no agenda, which obviously is not true.
So on the one hand, we do have an intolerance for this across different fields and industries. On the other hand, you can still succeed in America pretty easily with some really nasty stuff in your background.
Well, especially if you believe that the other side is making this stuff up or doing it only for partisan reasons. I mean, this is why so many people are sticking with the party, because they believe that the other side is lying about what really...
They're trying to cast the Washington Post as Oppo research, and the Washington Post is actually neutral.
Okay, this idea when you have all these media people who hate Trump, hate Moore, sitting around going, we're neutral arbiters. No wonder so many people are reacting this way. There's a poll out today showing that 37% of evangelicals said that they are more likely to vote for Roy Moore in the aftermath of the allegations. That's not because they actually believe he raped a 14-year-old or tried to. Right? That's because they believe that the media is out to get him. Right? It's that simple. That's obviously what's going on here. So this perspective, I think, has become the default perspective for a lot of Republicans and a lot of Democrats. Because next time there's a Bill Clinton character who goes around sexually assaulting women, Democrats are going to say, well, you guys were fine with Trump and Moore. That's the way this is going to go. And it has been going this way for the last 20 years. I think that Trump and Moore are just the culmination of that effect. Right, here's Chuck Todd. Chuck Todd says, did Trump get a pass from voters because of Bill Clinton's behavior? Well, the answer is sort of yes, right? I mean, I think there's some truth to that.
What do you say to voters who say, boy, all these people that were upset about Donald Trump, they weren't upset about Bill Clinton. Do you think that one of the reasons why Donald Trump got a pass from voters is because of what happened in the 90s to Bill Clinton?
Okay, the answer to that question is obviously yes. We don't need her answer. The answer to that question is obviously yes. This has become the predominant perspective. So, perspective number one, not one I think is particularly moral, but it certainly is prevalent, is turnabout is fair play. If nobody's going to have any standards on this, why should we? Okay, perspective number two is, I think, maybe the most honest and also the most immoral perspective. This is the David Horowitz perspective, which is, okay, so he molested a 14-year-old girl, who cares? Seriously, this is actually David Horowitz's perspective. He tweeted out, in my view, Moore is guilty as accused, but one, it happened 30 years ago, which, so. Two, he can't be removed from the ballot, again, so. And three, this is the one that matters to him. Electing a Dem strengthens a party that defends these criminals. Obama, the Clintons, Holder, Lynch, Abbott, and Cheryl Mills, etc., and their crimes are far, far worse, right? So this is the binary perspective that literally Donald Trump could have shot someone on Fifth Avenue, really, like literally done it. And David Horowitz would have supported him because he doesn't want Hillary Clinton to be president. So this does raise a question that we're all going to have to deal with. What are you willing to accept in a candidate to defeat the other side? If you believe the other side is so deeply evil that every seat is worth electing a child molester, then we may as well kiss goodbye to any standards for our candidates at all, right? Because some of our candidates will probably be good people, but some of them may be absolute crap fests. And to be honest, this seems like, again, a very common perspective that no one actually wants to articulate. Right? This seems almost like the underlying perspective for a lot of people who say the turnabout is fair play. There are a certain number of them, a subset, who say, who cares? Okay, fine, let's say he did it. The other side's still worse. They're still worse. Still worse is a very good excuse for you embracing something really, really bad. This was one of the logics that I found utterly non-compelling and actually quite off-putting during the last election cycle. It exists on the left, however. The left still maintains that JFK is some sort of halcyon of decency and wonder. Right? JFK is Camelot. Here's what we know about JFK, right? We know that there was a woman named Mimi Alford who was an intern at the White House. She was 18 when she started there. She wrote a book called Once Upon a Secret, My Affair with President John F. Kennedy and Its Aftermath. She was at the White House intern, a 19-year-old rising sophomore at Wheaton College, and JFK used her as basically a drug mule and apparently as a whore. I mean, that's basically her allegation. According to the New Republic, her story is entirely believable. She was an attractive, naive, recent graduate of Miss Porter's school. Miss Porter's was also the alma mater of Jackie Kennedy and a slightly older White House secretary named Fiddle, with whom Kennedy was also having an affair. And apparently he was also dallying with Fiddle's close friend Faddle, a secretary in the press office. I mean, JFK is just a scumbag. Apparently he led Mimi into his wife's bedroom, unbuttoned her blouse, touched her breast, pulled down her underwear, dropped his pants, climbed on top of her, and had sex with her. When she told him she was a virgin, he became more compassionate, but neither in that sexual encounter nor any other did he kiss her on the lips. And then there was one incident where there was a guy named Dave Powers who worked for Kennedy, who was sitting poolside while the president and I swam lazy circles around each other, splashing playfully. Remember, she's 19, JFK at this point is in his 40s. Right? The allegations about Moore that he was 33 and the girl was 16 or 17 or 18, except for the 14-year-old, which is another allegation. David removed his jacket and loosened his tie in the warm air of the pool, but he was otherwise fully clothed. He was sitting on a towel with his pants leg rolled up and his bare feet dangling in the water. The president swam over and whispered in my ear, "Mr. Powers looks a little tense. Would you take care of it?" It was a dare, but I knew exactly what he meant. This was a challenge to give Dave Powers oral sex, and then JFK basically manipulated this young girl into doing this, right? And then the left still celebrates him. So there's a group of people on the left who say the same thing. Well, JFK was better than his opposition, better than Tricky Dick Nixon. So who cares? I'll give you another example of the who cares phenomenon. Harvey Milk, considered a hero by many on the left. Right? Harvey Milk is considered just a wonderful, wonderful man, a hero, a sexual hero. Okay, Harvey Milk statutorily raped a 16-year-old boy. Okay, the guy's name was John Galen McKinley, and he was 16 years old. And Milk, who was then 33, right, very similar to the allegations, began living with this kid, this 16-year-old kid. They moved into Harvey Milk's Upper West Side apartment, according to biography by Randy Schultz. Says they bought a dog named Trick, a cat they called Trade, and settled into a middle-class domestic marriage. At 33, Milk was launching a new life, but could hardly have imagined the unlikely direction toward which his new lover would pull him. Okay, his lover at this age was 16 years old. Does the left have anything to say about that? Again, the answer is no, because who cares? Harvey Milk was a hero, and so we have to bury all of this stuff. Right? We can't imagine that people are multifaceted, and so we have to bury all this stuff. So perspective number one is the other side does it, so who cares? I think that's wrong, and I'll explain mine in a minute. I think that's wrong. I've really explained it already a little bit, which is just because the other side does it doesn't mean it's moral for you to do it. If the other side is electing a bunch of murderers, that doesn't mean it's moral for you to elect a bunch of murderers to fight them. Number two is the other side is so evil that we have to do everything possible to stop them, including siding with terrible people. That shows very little faith in humanity. It also shows very little faith in God, really, that God always has to use the most imperfect vessel. And it really shows little faith in human beings, because the fact is that Roy Moore, if he dropped out today, there'd be a writing campaign for Luther Strange or for Mo Brooks, and that person would likely win the seat. Right now, the polls show that Moore is down about 4 points to the Democratic challenger in freaking Alabama. Okay, perspective number three is one that I'm hearing a lot. It's sort of a legalistic perspective that I think is really just, again, a facet of the first two. The other side does it, and who cares? And that is, he wasn't convicted in a court of law. Right? I'm hearing this a lot. And I know that there's a guy online named Jacob Wohl, and he's been saying he wasn't convicted in a court of law. That's true. You know who else was not convicted in a court of law? Hillary Clinton. Right? Hillary Clinton was not convicted in a court of law of anything, and yet we treated her as a criminal because she was committing criminal activities, no matter what James Comey said, and we didn't vote her into the office of the White House because of that. Right? So the bottom line is that, in your own mind, you don't get to beg off just because the person wasn't convicted, unless this is a consistent rule you uphold. If your consistent rule is, I will vote for anyone so long as they weren't convicted, then you vote for O.J. Simpson for higher office so long as he voted the right way on abortion. Okay, but acknowledge that this is what you're doing. And the reality is that's not how people vote. That's not true. So all I'm asking for people is that they uphold a consistent standard. If your standard is you don't care because the other side does it, or if your standard is you don't care because the other side is so evil, or if your standard is the person has to be legally convicted in order for me to care, then at least uphold that standard on all sides, but you don't get to pick and choose which people you're going to use the new standard for. Senator Tim Scott, I think, has this exactly right. He says, listen, in the end, it is not the judge that's going to be the judge. It's going to be the voters who are the judge, just as they were with Hillary Clinton.
In this case, though, if the allegations are true, he's denying them. How do you find proof?
There's no doubt that the case is compelling. The judge and the jury in this case will be the people of Alabama, the voters of Alabama. They will have an opportunity to weigh in very clearly and decisively and very shortly. But this current situation will have to be solved by the people of Alabama. The voters will be the judge and the jury.
Okay, so that being the case, this brings up the final two perspectives, and these are the ones that I think are really the most interesting and honest. These are the ones that I think matter the most. Okay, the first perspective, I'll give you those in 1 second. These are the perspectives that matter the most. But But before that, I first want to say thank you to our sponsors over at Stamps.com. So you don't want to go to the post office and wait in line. You just don't. Okay, you may love the post office, maybe your favorite place. You don't have time for that. You have work to do. That's why you need to go over to Stamps.com. We use it here at the office. Stamps.com allows you to print out so that you don't have to worry about what kind of postage you're using. Well, right now, you can enjoy the Stamps.com service with a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus postage and a digital scale. It's a pretty awesome deal. Just go to Stamps.com, and there's a microphone at the top of the page, and type in Shapiro. That's Stamps.com, and then enter that promo code Shapiro, and that means that you'll get a 4-week trial plus postage